Incredible, things are happening one after another. The board of the Trump Media and Technology Group has approved the purchase of crypto. As revealed in a newly released SEC filing, you can see what's happening here. Yesterday, I reported that Donald Trump might be backing out regarding the Crypto Council here in the USA. It doesn't look 100% certain that the strategic reserve will come to the USA, but a lot is happening on other levels. Privately, Donald Trump is lining his pockets. Companies are buying Bitcoin. Now we have Abu Dhabi, the third largest state in the world, lining its pockets here. The states here in the USA are forging ahead, and that's what needs to be closely monitored now because we see the big players lining their pockets. But it also makes sense. Many people commented yesterday when I mentioned that there might be a retreat from the Donald Trump administration, saying, yes, that absolutely makes sense. When you do that, you first fill your own pockets. And once your own pockets are full, then you push things forward here in the USA. And it now looks like we have confirmation that even if the USA is not officially buying Bitcoin or not yet officially buying Bitcoin, at least Trump himself is already lining his pockets with his companies. We also have the World Liberty Finance story, where Eric Trump and so on. Here, Bitcoin and Ethereum were massively bought, but wrapped Bitcoin was bought here. There are many reports Trump media authorized buying crypto assets, according to Bloomberg. So, crypto assets, we don't know if it's Bitcoin, but it's very likely Bitcoin. So, almost 100% I would say here. Probably a mix, probably other Bitcoin as well. We just have to see what else is added here. They probably won't be huge sums. There was also an article that said they are evaluating putting up to 250 million into cryptocurrencies. But now we have the authorization, and then we might assume that the 250 million will be fully utilized here. I'll say it again, maybe 100 million in Bitcoin, then another 100 million in something else, and then maybe another 50 million. Again, something else. And it's really amazing that we are now seeing the game theory being played out. And I already said it in the last video, hey folks, buckle up. The space race has now started, but not the space race to the moon, rather the space race for who gets the most Bitcoin. And whoever isn't in the race now will lose, they will fall far, far behind. We already have way more Bitcoin being bought up daily than are being newly mined. Check this out. MicroStrategy is buying endlessly. Now sovereign wealth funds are buying endlessly. Donald Trump is buying on different layers. So, on different levels. He probably has Bitcoin personally, his companies have Bitcoin. And now maybe at some point, also as a wealth fund, and then maybe also as a strategic Bitcoin reserve. Although we've already said that the strategic Bitcoin reserve doesn't seem very likely right now, it seems more likely through the wealth fund in the USA, and also through the states that this will come first and then at the very end. Then maybe also the strategic Bitcoin reserve here, once they've filled their pockets enough. But of course, that's just a guess. Feel free to write in the comments below how you see it, whether it makes sense to fill your pockets privately first before making it public, and then maybe restarting the Crypto Council. I don't know what the reason is why Donald Trump seems to want to backtrack from the Crypto Council. It's not officially confirmed. It was just the report from Unchained, but there were really a lot of comments. Many have also said, hey, I've been saying all along that Donald Trump is backtracking here. But it just looks like the backtracking is happening only on a political level and on a private level. A lot of money is still being poured into Bitcoin. That's also what many people always say. That means the politicians are not concerned with altruistically improving the world, but rather many people have their own interests here. I mean, in principle, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not a bad thing, but you have to look closely at what people say and what they do in their portfolios. So don't just talk, but show me your portfolio, show me how it is. Then I can relatively easily say what you intend to do here. We also have an official article on this now. It states that the board of Trump Media and Technology Group has approved the purchase of crypto, as revealed in a newly released SEC filing. This decision represents a significant realignment for the company, which is mainly known for its social media platform Truth Social. So, like with many other platforms, they are implementing a second strategy here by adding Bitcoin to their main business. Trump Media's entry into the crypto market is not surprising, given the current economic climate. After the announcement, the market reacted positively, and Trump Media stocks saw an increase, a sign of investor confidence in this new direction. So, it really looks like people are ready for Bitcoin, ready for crypto. We also have to mention that many in the Bitcoin community criticized Donald Trump for being such a big shitcoiner, for starting the whole meme coin story, for launching his own meme coin, and for the arrival of the Melania coin. But on the other hand, there are also many people who defend him and say, hey, he has nothing to do with it. They say his name rights are just being exploited. We need to keep an eye on this. Donald Trump is definitely very, very interesting in how he currently moves the markets, also with all the tariff stories. And guys, check this out. I'm here at Cuatro Amigos. Today is the 3-year ultra-bullish Bitcoin party. Yes. How's it going? 3 years of Cuatro Amigos in El Salvador, in El Sandy.
Super awesome, ultra bullish. We are mega grateful to have created a place where many Bitcoins have already been. Today there are about 30 people here, almost all Bitcoin, and it's a dream to talk with people from the Bitcoin space, simply with Bitcoin, because they already share completely different values. Every time it honors me, and I am so grateful for it. The best part is that the market is creating the most bullish content ever. With us.
And if someone wants to come to Quadromigas now, how can I book a room?
Instagram, Airbnb, Telegram, message us directly.
But it's booked anyway.
Yes, it's fully booked for now, but we do have rooms again. Camping is possible.
So ultra bullish, you heard it. Jens is even more bullish than I am on the road. Let's fucking go. So we really need to pay close attention to what's happening here right now. The Bitcoin therapist summarized it very, very well here. He says here, hold on, sovereign wealth funds from the Middle East are buying Bitcoin. The entire Trump administration owns Bitcoin, so the whole gang, the whole crew, they all have Bitcoin, from a Ramaswamy to a Wenz to a Tulsi Gabbard, RFK, Elon Musk, the whole list. They all have Bitcoin, the entire Trump administration. US banks can now custody Bitcoin, incredibly intense SCP-121 overturned, and CFTC are now in favor of Bitcoin. So it's unprecedented that we have the SEC and CFTC supporting Bitcoin. Gary Gensler is fired and we're still under 100,000 US dollars, at least at the time of this recording. It might be when the video is published that massive changes have occurred again. And Bitcoin then shoots over 100,000 US dollars. We also see it with Bitcoin, it's just like that. For a long time, nothing happens. Then for 3 weeks, nothing happens. Almost nothing happens for 3 weeks. And suddenly, out of nowhere, Abu Dhabi Sovereign Wealth Fund comes in and buys Bitcoin massively. Then next, somehow a few hours later, it's like, hey, Donald Trump has also bought Bitcoin now. And then everything happens in quick succession. And that's always how it is with Bitcoin. We see nothing for a long time, and then everything happens all at once. And now we basically just have to wait for the price action to come, because the news is there, the fundamentals are there. It doesn't make any sense for Bitcoin not to break out upwards now. So the people who are still waiting for the big pullback, I mean, it can happen, but if it does, it's only a temporary setback. So for Q1, Q2, it still looks very, very bullish here. Those who were really on the bearish side and sold their Bitcoin here, and now somehow go into hibernation and stand for bear market vibes. Well, I really feel sorry for them now, although of course no one can know for sure. Could also be that we enter a bear market. But in my opinion, we haven't seen a top yet. And in my opinion, the signs are very, very bullish. I would even say hyper bullish. And if other sovereign wealth funds, other large sovereign wealth funds, and who knows what else follows suit, then we're definitely at Valhalla level here. Then things will really take off here. What has also been completely overlooked here, I somehow forgot to report on it as well. President Trump nominated Jonathan Gould to lead the office of the Comptroller of the Currency. So you really have to take this in now. The new Comptroller of the Currency of the United States, a significant position here, previously worked at a Bitcoin mining company that invests in cryptocurrency projects. We are in the year 2025 and the future has begun. The bull market hasn't even gained momentum yet. Then check this out, Donald Trump is bringing people into his administration who previously worked at Bitcoin mining companies. Wrap your head around that. By now, there's practically no one who doesn't own significant or at least small amounts of Bitcoin here. And even positions like a Secretary of Defense. Or somehow here. Tulsi Gabbard, she's doing something with surveillance stuff, I can't remember the exact position. Even people who don't have anything directly to do with Bitcoin, crypto, or finance, even those people are now Bitcoin exposed. That is, I mean, how bullish is that? I mean, if you're not bullish now, you've really lost control over your life. Feel free to write in the comments below whether you're on the bullish side or if you're still bearish. Of course, that's always a bit exaggerated here, I understand that. It's okay to be bearish, there's nothing wrong with that. You haven't lost control over your life if you're bearish. But, I mean, come on people, you have to look at the whole thing. Long term. And in the long run, you can almost only be bullish on Bitcoin. And in the short term, there may always be setbacks, but in the long term, how can you be bearish on Bitcoin unless you sleep through the whole thing and don't understand what's currently happening? Thomas Drolite, who always has very, very good posts, writes here that if hyperbitcoinization occurs through the game theoretical accumulation by nation states, as many have predicted, it will happen this year. Hyper bullish. Take that in. According to Thomas Drolite, this year, if everything plays out as expected, the nation-state FOMO will kick in. That means the USA will buy Bitcoin, China will buy Bitcoin, Russia will buy Bitcoin, Abu Dhabi has already bought Bitcoin. On the other hand, it must also be said that perhaps all these nations have already bought Bitcoin. We also know that Abu Dhabi has been buying Bitcoin for a long time, but now it's just being made public. But if we see a nation-state FOMO, then more and more nations will show their holdings to demonstrate strength and presence. It's just like in the past. Not just in the past, but even nowadays when large war fleets are deployed, or when large tank divisions in China are rolled out to project power. In the same way, in the future, people will reveal their Bitcoin reserves and say, look at this. We have 6,000 Bitcoins ready. By the way, he still has more Bitcoin than Abu Dhabi, just for comparison. I saw earlier, Abu Dhabi has around 4,800 Bitcoins, while he has 6,000 something Bitcoins. So, you shouldn't underestimate what's happening in El Salvador. Samsung Moss says here that if it happens, we will quickly see 1 million US dollars. And Thomas Rahm, the leader, says by the end of the next 10x, likely even faster, so the next tenfold increases will be even quicker. That means reaching 1 million, and then the tenfold increase from that million will happen even faster. I mean, yes, that's a bit exaggerated now. Bullish what's happening here currently. That means it's always like this. Then Bitcoin moves sideways, Bitcoin slowly goes down. Then there's bullish news. And suddenly all the God candle triggers activate. And suddenly everyone goes all in again. Of course, I join in too because I love it when there's bullish sentiment. I hate that finance. In the bear market, when the mood is bad here, everything in debris. I mean, on the other hand, it's also cool when you can focus more on the fundamentals again. All the Bitcoin and so on, they are, let's say, quiet again. They all come back here when everything is escalating, because then you can theoretically throw your money at any nonsense. And everything goes up, although we see in this bull run that it's no longer like that. You can no longer throw your money at any nonsense, and everything goes up. That was the case in past bull runs. This bull run, this bull market is not quite like that. But I have to clearly say, I prefer the bullish mood over the bearish one. So feel free to always deduct like that, 10, 20, 30% off. Some people have already said about my bullishness, hey, you're overly bullish. Then just deduct 20, 30% or something like that. Then you might have a fair value or a fair assessment. But when such news comes out, you just have to go full throttle. Then you just have to go all in here. And now I'll show you our Bitcoin meter. Live here from El Salvador. And we were already talking about the shitcoin stories, what you now, until he missed the vibe here, this is it. Actually, I have a lot of respect here for Javier Milei, but indeed here. Javier Milei supports an Argentine meme coin aimed at boosting the economy by funding small businesses and startups. So here, meme coin, even though he had private meetings with Bukele about Bitcoin, he chose this path instead. So absolutely, I must say, I've completely lost my respect for him, to be honest. I mean, cool, what he's doing in Argentina. Wants to abolish the central bank. And who knows what else he's doing. But of course, you can't support just any meme coins or things like that. It's just like with Donald Trump. On one hand, it's kind of cool what these people are doing. Then I also think, hey, awesome, how can you set up a Department of Government office here? But on the other hand, they release some meme coins and pull off rug pulls. Then I also think, hey people, have you gone crazy? So feel free to write in the comments what you think about it. How do you feel about presidents now launching one shitcoin or meme coin after another? People, we are in a hyper-bullish time. We are entering a hyper-bullish phase. And if you want to be prepared here, the link to 21 Bitcoin is below. Here you can buy Bitcoin easily, safely, and simply. With the code, you can get up to 20% off the fees when buying Bitcoin. The best part, there are limit orders here, one-time purchases, savings plans, and much, much more. People, see you then. Peace out.